Welcome back to S.4.G. It is what it is. Opinion show. Okay. Uh, as I wait for everybody to join in on the topic, uh, one of my commenters put in a request for me to speak on Troy Ave Breakfast Club interview, and it was a very deep interview. A very, very deep interview. Actually, it was my first time hearing him speak. My first time hearing him speak since the incident at Irving Plaza and all that. But other than that, one thing I can say out of the whole interview is it was very deep because, you know what I mean? I'm talking about as far as the fact of, like, it's a real long interview, first of all. That thing is long. But other than that, it was like inspirational too. The reason why I say that is when he was talking about when he got shot and how, and crazy at the same time, how he said people were like when he got shot in his head and his back in his head, you know what I mean? How like how he said he was stuck in the wheel and the girl had to help him out the wheel, and they had to walk like a mile or jog a mile to the nearest hospital. You know what I mean? In the midst of that, he said he was banging on people's cars and knocking on people's cars and stuff like that, you know, because he was shot and bleeding all crazy. And he was saying how people wouldn't help him. How nobody wouldn't help him. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, even though we know what type of world we live in, you know what I mean? And then it's on top of that, that goes to show, like, most people feel like because they're a celebrity or they're known like that, like you would feel like somebody like Troy Ave or whatever, and at the height of his career, that people would be having open arms and, let me help you or try my best to help you. But it's crazy though. It's just crazy. Like just to hear all that was going down. You know what I mean? He said to the point he felt like he was dead. You know what I mean? He said even when he drove away from the scene, getting away from the scene, because that's when he got hit as he was pulling off. Like you know what I mean? So with that being said, it's not all about just getting into how he got shot, because if you've seen the interview, you already heard. But other than that, real briefly, because I didn't want to dwell on how he got shot, I wanted to dwell on the outcome of it. You know what I mean? Because he basically just quick rundown. He was crept up on or whatever in the wheel with his, with the shorty he was with, and when he spun off, so he pushed the button that makes it sound like, like a gunshot with the car. You know what I mean? So that stalled the ball a minute. But as he was pulling out or whatever, he got hit in his back and in his head, the back of his head, or in his head, period. I just know he got hit in his head. But with that being said, he said he was, saying himself like he couldn't believe he was still living. Like he said he thought he was wondering, was he a spirit? Was he just, was this some out of body experience, him driving the wheel? You know what I mean? So he said when eventually, he banged out or whatever, and he said I think he said he banged out at a landscape or whatever, but he tried to come out the car. Girl had to help him out the car that was with him. You know what I mean? Obviously she was able to get out better than he was. Like I said, They had to travel a mile jogging. He was knocking on cars and stuff like that. Nobody wouldn't help him. Then he basically walked himself into him and the girl went into the emergency office or whatever, emergency building, hospital. And he had to tell people, come on, I need some assistance. Like just because you see me walking in here and I'm talking conscious and all that don't mean that it's not life-threatening wounds on me. That goes to just saying, it goes to show if God is not ready for you. You know what I mean? Like the Bible says, man. It's like Jesus said, no man takes my life but the Father. It is what it is. If it's not your time, it ain't your time, man. These people that got shot up all types of, 16 times. It's crazy, man. Just go to show. The Lord ain't ready for you. The Lord ain't ready for you, man. Can't nobody take your life but the Father. That's how the devil rules with fear, man. He definitely rules with fear. God, God is about faith. The devil's about fear. That's what the devil rules with. But yeah, it's you definitely gotta check that interview out. And I already knew when they started talking about the boy tax tone. I already knew what his response was gonna be with that. He was straight from the rip. I ain't got nothing to say about that, man. I already knew from the rip. Then on top of that, the situation is still ongoing. You know what I mean? It's still ongoing. He said he's still facing 20 years. You know what I mean? Troy said he's still facing 20 years. Like, you know what I mean? Well, if convicted, he's facing 20 years. It's crazy, man. But one thing I do give him is that he really sounds like he really is taking life really for granted. I mean, a lot of people would say, of course, somebody would after that, but you can't always say that because this cats that got shot up and get cockier and be on some like, yeah, I got this on me, I got the joint on me, and start talking even more reckless and, you know what I mean, doing even more on the edge things. Then it's something to learn from it. It don't mean you have to, start hiding and all that and, it is what it is. I'm saying you're supposed to learn from your situations. I don't care, even if you shot somebody. You know what I mean? I'm just speaking facts. Because anything can happen today or tomorrow. Like I said, out of self-defense or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? No matter what your situation is, you got to learn. Because eventually it's going to be a flat line on either note. Either you're in that bang during that crazy time or in that box. It's either or. You know what I mean? The evolve, you fade away. But yeah, but that was an inspiring interview to me when he talked about things of that nature, and when he talked about as far as how the rap game, let alone friends and family and stuff that's going on, how they playing, you know what I mean? How, from people changing up, stuff like that. Like he has some straight key points, man. Here's some straight key points. Like to me, he sound like don't get it twisted. A lot of people, they can talk it real good. Then when you meet them and get to know them, they're not even how they talk. But I don't know. I get from him like he's a, kind of down to earth boy. You know what I mean? Kind of down to earth boy. He sound like one of them type bulls to me. You know what I mean? And they definitely, people like that always come with piles of haters. Trust me, I know by experience. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is, because any wise man to know, or if you got enough knowledge, you know what I mean, that's what come with it. That's what come with it. If you got a heart to, you know what I mean? Like if you got a giving heart or a loving heart, it is what it is. Like it just comes with it. It comes natural. If you ain't got no haters, something is wrong. You're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. If people always, everywhere you go, because I know people like that too. I know people like that. You know what I mean? It's like everywhere they go, everybody laugh when they see him, and they always, don't get me wrong. They don't, you know what I'm saying? That's a good life. Everywhere you go, everybody's always smiling and happy to see you and this and that. Hey, but I'm sorry. The real life, trust me, out of that crowd, somebody looking at you like this. You know what I mean? Looking for something to say. Anyway, ain't gonna stop living though, right? But yeah, like I said, that interview was really deep. Like I said, I knew he wasn't gonna start talking about the bull tax tone. I knew he wasn't gonna have too much rap about that because it's an ongoing case. You know what I mean? Other than that, like I said, that's the main thing. That's the main thing that really. That's the main thing that really, was the main interest in me. You know what I mean? I had a whole interview, very long interview. Was that like when he talked on stuff like that? As far as like he said the same thing that he said anyway. Anything that was ever said, that people ever heard that he said, whether a message relayed, a message gave from jail or in his music, whatever, he basically said the same things that he already said anyway. So it wasn't on no like you coming to hear something fresh and new. Only thing, if it was something to really hear something exclusive, was when he got shot, how they react from getting shot, what happened from him getting shot to getting some help or getting to the hospital. You know what I mean? To me, that's the main biggest things that he talked about. To me. And he was keeping it real. Like how, when he got out of jail, and he talked about that too. The boy that was it his bouncer? I think it was his bouncer that got killed. And they were saying that the boy mom, and then was coming at Troy Ave saying Troy Ave wasn't, he wasn't like doing things like he could have for him, and was trying to say that Troy Ave killed him. And I'm like, dang, I ain't know all that. I ain't know they was saying that much. I don't even remember. I don't know how I missed that. I don't remember seeing that in no topics. You know what I mean? I heard him saying that about the other boy. I heard him saying that about him. The DJ boy is locked up or on probation now, whatever's going on. I mean, not probation, or house arrest, whatever's going on with him. I don't know. I'm too busy focusing on my own thing. I only focus on these topics when I need to, speak on them. Get that real opinion. But other than that, like basically everything he said was already said in his music. You know what I mean? And it was already like relayed when when he was locked up or whatever. You know what I mean? But other than that, the details of him getting shot, he broke down. And like I said, the boy that got killed, like I said, I think it's his bouncer or whatever. Y'all know who I'm talking about. They got killed or whatever. His mom, like I said, his mom and him was saying like, it was feeling some type of way towards him, and he was trying to say like how when he got locked up, as far as the show money and stuff like that, he had to pay people back, which makes sense. Instead of gaining, he was doing more paying people back and making up for things. Of course you're gonna miss out on money. But at the same time, depends on who you are, You know what I mean? Like he even said himself, you know what I mean? As he should, stacking your money. So you had some money in the tuck to do something. Like you was able to make the moves. But which he said he told him, listen, get a couple people to sign a signature, I'll pay for this. Whatever. You know what I mean? So he did speak as far as, he did say that he did try. But that was the main topics. That was something that was like more in detail as far as something that you didn't hear before, but now you hearing it. Like you need to know this. You know what I mean? Other than that, everything else was just like I said, stuff that he already said. Stuff that he already said. But yeah, but other than that, uh, like a deep situation though. Just to hear all that, man. Just to hear all that. You know what I mean? He like, you imagine like you got a bullet in your head, bullet in your back, blood running down all crazy. You can't tell me ain't a God, man. It is what it is. You walk around with a bullet in your head, bullet in your back. You know what I mean? People driving past like it ain't nothing. They see your blood on you and all that. And how people can that's crazy. People is cruel, man. People is cruel. You know what I mean? It's crazy. That could have been his day. A couple times he said he thought he was dead. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's a deep interview. You gotta check that joint out, man. You gotta check that joint out. It's a deep interview. And it's such a long interview. I'm not gonna lie. It's such a long interview. And there's certain things that I wanted to speak on. It's like the interview was so long that by the time it was done, it's like trying to remember exactly which parts I wanted to speak on. You know what I mean? So we can continue this in the comments. You know what I mean? The comments below. Other than that, I do a continuous anything that I forgot to speak on. But other than that, like I said, that was the main thing. Everything that he said, he already had said already. You know what I mean? Other than that, when it comes to him being shot, he gave details on that. You know what I mean? And as far as how everything went from being shot to where he went. You know what I mean? And he ain't had too much rap about the boy. Text him, as he should, because the situation's still going on. You know what I mean? He straight up bulletproof vest in the interview. He ain't playing no games with that. That's one thing about it. Like you got a bulletproof vest. That's what it is. You might as well have a bulletproof hat and all that. Like, for real, for real. But yeah, that's real life stuff right there, though. That's real life. That's real life right there. Cats be talking all that. They raps and all that. I guess he's saying, I'm really living this. Like, it is what it is. Like teach his own. You know what I mean? You choose that role, you choose that path, man. You know, but the way he talks, it's like he really like about his money. Like he about his money, take care of his family, you know what I'm saying, and just want to succeed in life. Now, with his music, I'm not gonna front. I don't even like, for real, his situations made him stand out a little bit more to me. Like I don't even know his music like that. It is what it is. Like I came across some stuff, or I mean, heard him being on the radio. But other than that, I would say it's a signature track that I know him by. You know what I mean? It's like that. The incident made you want to. Oh, let me see who this boy is. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah, obviously popping or whatever. But me myself, like, I don't listen to everybody. But this situation, like I said, is what made me check him out, see what he was hitting for. Now, like I said, I heard a couple of joints. So I ain't no major fan of him or nothing like that. But I could say he talked some real stuff in the interview. You know what I mean? Talk some real life stuff. Make the hood rich. Check that out.